Coupe-like SUVs are a dime a dozen these days, but is the original still the best? The BMW X6 started the trend back in 2008, and this is the freshly facelifted third generation. But others soon followed suit, like the Porsche Cayenne Coupe, which has also had a facelift. But is it better than the car that started it all? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know if you're Team BMW or Team Porsche. The BMW X6 prompted plenty of scorn when it revealed its sleek silhouette, but buyers couldn't get enough and the concept was quickly copied, especially by its German compatriots. Mercedes, Audis and then Porsche followed. Both the large luxury SUVs we have here have plenty in common, such as lavish interior fit-outs, sporty 3-litre turbo petrol engines, remarkable handling and also their price tags. Also, it would seem, these vehicles in entry-level trim are only separated by about $2,000, but as always, there's a lengthy list of options to contend with. The BMW adds around $10,000 of extras, including an enhancement pack that adds a 16-speaker Harman Kardon stereo and glass buttons inside, and an M Sport pack brings exterior eye candy with big wheels, black accents, and an M Sport exhaust system. The Porsche adds $40,000 worth of options, the most expensive of which are those 22-inch alloys in Vesuvius grey and the two-tone leather interior. The BMW trumps the Porsche in almost every measurable after-sales metric, with a longer warranty and much cheaper servicing. BMW offers a 5-year package for almost $3,000, and while the figures for the new Cayenne haven't been released, based on the last model, you'll probably need almost 3 times as much as that. The BMW looks pretty sharp in M Brooklyn Grey Metallic, contrasting nicely with black highlights around and up the front grille, about the exhaust pipes and around the rear, and of course with those big 22-inch alloy wheels. The Montego Blue Metallic Porsche is all curves compared to the strikingly sharp angles of the BMW, but it still has loads of road presence. The concealed front indicators are pretty neat, and those pricey alloys sure do make a statement, as does a more prominent roof spoiler and that full-width LED tail light at the rear. The BMW gets a tried and trusted 3-litre inline 6, while the Porsche gets a V6 of the same size. And while they're closely matched for power and torque, it's the BMW that's quicker to accelerate. On paper, the BMW is also more fuel efficient, which is interesting given it's almost 100 kilos heavier. Both vehicles send power to all 4 wheels via conventional 8-speed automatic transmissions. Let's start with the BMW X6, which feels really luxurious in this tan leather trim, but it's got to be these dual screens that are the real headline. They're very eye-catching. Overall fit and finish is exemplary, and everything has a premium feel, from the high-quality perforated cognac leather upholstery to the plastics, the headlining, the carbon fibre inlays, and even the soft car mats. The glass gear shifter and controls won't be for everyone, but they certainly catch the eye. The power-adjustable M steering wheel feels as good as it looks, and little touches like the unique air vent adjusters and a backlit X6 on the dash add high-tech sportiness. Storage solutions up here are not amazing for a car of this size, but they're pretty good nonetheless. You've got 2 cup holders, wireless phone charging, you've got the lidded armrest, which also has charging points in there, as well as decent size indoor storage. The twin central screen setup is really flashy, with a super sharp 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and a 14.9-inch central touchscreen display, which is housed behind a single pane of curved glass. It's easy to see, and the iDrive 8 operating system has loads of depth and functionality. Navigate with the touchscreen or the iDrive dial. The native sat-nav is also very good, and the digital instrumentation cluster has loads of customization and data sets. The wireless Apple CarPlay looks fantastic on this screen. It stretches the full 14.9 inches, and as you can see, the screen resolution is fantastic. But in addition to these 2 screens, you've also got a really clear head-up display as well. The BMW's reversing camera features umpteen modes and settings, including an excellent 3D view, one of the sharpest we've seen, and there are also front and rear sensors. Okay, now time for the Porsche. I love this new digital display, 12.6-inch curved glass. It looks really cool. The central display, however, it's a carryover from the old Cayenne Coupe, and it just feels a little bit Volkswagen, to be honest. It doesn't scream high-end in the same way the BMW does. It's classic Porsche interior, understated and restrained. The two-tone black and crayon leather upholstery looks and feels great, and the seat comfort is on par with the BMW. Fit and finish is flawless, but it doesn't bring that obvious glamour of the BMW. The air vents lack that futuristic design of the BMW, and although it's not quite as high-tech in its execution, the fact that the climate control has physical temperature controls, unlike the BMW, will please lots of buyers. The Cayenne brings modern tech without compromising on user-friendly functionality. Front of cabin storage in the Porsche is probably not quite as good as in the BMW. You've got a similar level of amenity, but just not quite as generous space. Indoor storage, wireless phone charging, oddment storage, 2 cup holders and a lidded armrest. It's just a little more compact in here. The Porsche's twin screen setup has pros and cons. The curved digital instrumentation display is a high point. It features loads of customization and it's easy to read. The central screen has a good interface that's also easy to use and has reasonable depth, but it simply doesn't have that cutting edge look or feel of the BMW's much larger and easier to read screen. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also standard here and they work really well, and like the BMW, you've got a very cool configurable head-up display. So while it presents quite differently, they have very similar functionality. The reversing camera is also great here too, and it's a must given the poor rearward vision at hand of both of these vehicles. Like the BMW, front and rear parking sensors are also standard. Both cars are loaded to the gunnels with infotainment goodies, but the BMW offers more depth and better clarity overall, not to mention a more advanced operating system than the Porsche. Both vehicles are packaged with comprehensive safety suites, including an impressive array of autonomous driving functions that make freeway driving a breeze. Second row of the BMW has comfortable seats and it's got quite a large flat seat base, which means it's perfect for 3 occupants. Add to that good legroom and surprisingly good headroom despite this sloping roofline and a sunroof, so it's not bad back here at all. Amenities not too bad. It has a manual temperature adjuster for the rear air vents, some little storage shelves, a 12-volt socket and a concealed USB-C ports with tablet holder fittings. The central armrest has lots of functionality as well. Second row of the Porsche, and the seats are probably a little bit firmer and it's definitely better suited to 2 occupants back here than 3 because of this quite moulded seat base here. Like the BMW, you've got a great sunroof and the sloping roofline still leaves you plenty of headroom and generous legroom. Backseat amenity is better in this German with central and door pillar air vents along with the optional quad zone climate control here. You get the same twin USB-C ports as the BMW, 12-volt socket and a simpler fold-down armrest. Both vehicles get electric tailgates, and while the BMW on paper has a smaller boot space, it's actually more thoughtfully executed. It's got a lovely form-fitting cargo cover and a spring-loaded pneumatic floor hatch. In the Porsche, we don't see that level of bespoke. It sort of lacks a bit of the polish that we see in the Beamer. Both have space-saver spares and bag hooks, and the Porsche adds a small netted area. Both feature 3-way split folding rear seats, which adds surprising versatility to their load lugging capabilities. So both have impressive interiors and the attention to detail is top notch. It's probably the BMW, however, that dials it up just a little bit. Will it be better to drive as well? Let's find out. The BMW X6 feels smooth and sophisticated from the moment you first set off. And there's this sense of quiet confidence about the way it drives. It is quite Moorish. The powertrain delivers a tangible sense of competency, the inline 6-cylinder turbo producing physical and acoustic feedback with a subtlety that's refined and powerful. In other words, every time you flex your right foot, you are gratefully rewarded. Throttle response is excellent, the engine builds speed rapidly, and the gearbox is a great partner to the petrol 6, whether you're meandering or hustling. In sport mode, the handling dynamics are solid. This big German can be incredibly quick on the windy roads. The direct steering feels good, and the tyres and all-wheel drive system generate impressive traction, but it cannot defy the laws of physics, As such, its heavy weight and tall body conspire to generate a bit of body roll when you're really pushing through the corners. A BMW wagon, this is not. Fitted as standard with adaptive suspension, the BMW reacts to speed bumps and cruddy roads with surprising poise in comfort mode, which is surprising given its massive 22-inch wheels and gummy tyres. Refinement levels overall are excellent. This engine just thrums along beautifully, and there's very little road or wind noise to speak of. This is every bit a high-end luxury car. Perhaps the only area it falls down in terms of driving process is its lack of rearward vision. The sports coupe-like tail end looks fabulous, but vision is completely shot. Forget trying to do a head check. Okay, we're in the Porsche now, and immediately those sort of understated, stylish cues flow through to its road manners as well. It's less bullish than the BMW, but let's not forget, less bullish doesn't mean less competent. I've also got to say that I thought this V6 would sound better than the BMW, but it doesn't. The BMW's soundtrack is nicer. On paper, the Porsche has less power and torque, and for the most part, you only really notice this low down in the revs. The BMW is more enthusiastic off the mark, but on the go, there's nothing much between these two. When it comes to handling dynamics, the Porsche wins. It's got much better body control, it sits flatter through the corners, much greater feedback through the steering wheel. It's quite a communicative car. Even from the moment you sit here, you're in the cabin like much lower. It feels like a more sporty SUV. It's perhaps through the tight bends where the lighter curb weight of the Porsche comes into play. Its point and steer character is crisper, more accurate. It is fiercely obedient. But the Porsche is not quite as composed around town as the BMW. The adaptive suspension unable to quell those bigger bumps and lumps in the road as effortlessly as the softly sprung Beamer. Porsche drivers will know this, and they probably won't care. If you're switching into one, you will notice the difference. Refinement levels in the Porsche are excellent, although the outside world does just creep in a little bit more than in the BMW. It's kind of in keeping with that more engaged, enthusiast drive experience that's obvious from the minute you get behind the wheel of the Porsche. Some drivers will like that, some won't. It proves to be quite a key difference between these two SUVs. On paper, the BMW is around 10% more fuel efficient, but in reality and real-world driving, they're actually pretty close. While the BMW is a better all-rounder with more compliant suspension and a quieter cabin, the Porsche is, well, a Porsche and more involving and exciting to drive fast as a result. Of course, it depends what you're looking for, but overall, the BMW actually does more things better. Despite these vehicles being major updates and not all new models, they both have an ultra-modern look and feel, but the BMW edges ahead with that finer interior that has a distinctly tailor-made look and feel. If we judge these vehicles on their base prices, it would be agonizingly close, but there's no way the Porsche is around $30,000 better than the BMW. How about we strip away those costly options for a minute to even the playing field, so to speak. The Porsche is a truly engaging and enjoyable car to drive. It brings quite a bit of emotion to the table, and it's fair to say it wears the more coveted badge of these two. But in entry-level V6 form, it's not perfect. The BMW X6, on the other hand, with that punchy inline-six, comes mighty close. It also boasts comfort, tech, luxury and family-friendly values. But on top of that, it's a truly, truly enjoyable car to drive, and it is our winner. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and let us know what you think in the comments. Are you Team BMW or Team Porsche?